Yeah, I've just been chilling. I ain't been at PAX. I've been building PCs. Been doing my scrapyard citizen thing. So basically, I wanted to build a super cheap PC, so that you could, so that anyone with a bit of research, a bit of time and effort, can build a VR ready or Star Citizen ready PC. Even now, and I was able to make basically a pretty good gaming rig excluding graphics card, because you're on your own with that, for $150 basically. That was almost a match from my gaming rig, which costs, I don't know, $1,000 ish.
Yeah. Now maybe this would be a good build too for anybody who's looking to build a stream PC, right? With some CPU power.
Yeah, I mean, from the one I built, which was relatively easy and I was quite lucky with, but I did put about a week research into it before I did anything. It just works fine for recording. It works fine for all my needs. And I was considering, because it's got 16 logical cores, CPU-wise, I was thinking about making one for like a 32-core one in the future, maybe. But we'll see. We'll talk about that when I think about doing it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've just been researching Star Citizen stats stuff. So looking at the armor of the ships, looking at the effective health pools of ships, and all the weapon stats. So I'm going to be doing some videos about that next week, and trying to get you guys involved. I'm going to try and, whenever I can, get people involved. Community, you guys, everyone. Anyone who wants to be involved that's online when I'm online and I'm doing that, it's more than welcome. Other than that, not much, really. I mean, same old, same old. I went to a VR meetup. Got very drunk with Bite Marks, if he's on at the line at the moment. He might still be hungover from the event. We were very drunk. But yeah, it was good. It was nice. It was nice to, probably not as nice as events you had at PAX. Come on, tell me more about PAX. Come on, guys.
I don't know. Pretty much we were just drunk. So I think we had about the same time. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky enough to go visit Austin. We went to the Austin studios at CIG. We did a tour there. They showed us a bunch of really cool stuff. But more importantly, the most important thing out of that was we have, I would say, I don't know, what, 3 or 4 hours of interviews? Something like that?
No. Each interview was around
about 20 minutes.
10, 15 minutes?
Yeah. No, they were around 20 minutes each. Yeah, we had to sign NDAs.
Oh my god, that's why you haven't been telling me stuff. I've been pestering for informations.
Yeah, no stuff.
You weren't part of that group, so no NDA for you. So no.
Each interview was about 10 or 15 minutes, so maybe like 2 hours at the most of interviews.
Yeah.
We spent 6 hours interviewing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about after it's all cut up and edited in and everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we spent about 3 or 4 hours doing the interviews. And we probably have a good solid 2 or 3 hours.
I don't think I'd want to go to the studios if I had to sign an NDA. Part of the joy of that sort of stuff is I want to tell other people, especially with what I do for a living. I literally want to report on it. So that would be really horrible to not tell people. I hate you guys.
Yeah.
No.
Well. You know, so if he brings up something, and we are like, oh, we can't talk about that, then
we can. I mean, people kind of mention stuff, and you just walk around it. It's not too bad. So, yeah. Basically, yeah, it was a really good time. We met everyone at the office. Was super cool. Apparently this is a normal thing, and this is not under NDA. They keep like all the lights off. It was dark.
Like even while people are there, it was like
it's like a LAN party.
Yeah, it was dark. All the rooms were dark. No light in the room at all. Maybe that has to do with like making sure you see your monitor properly or something like that. But I asked. There was a couple people that work in, the gaming industry that we were with, and they said pretty much the same thing, that that's how it is. They just kind of keep the lights off. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's cool.
No, it was pretty cool. Like the whole environment. They had a keg there and stuff, which was pretty cool, and hung out on the patio. And
we were there when they dropped 2.1.2. When they pressed the button to drop it to live, they put an easy button on the table and they pressed it, and
that was it.
That was easy, and then it happened.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. That was really cool. Lando tweeted out a picture. I should have actually put that in the doc so you can show it. It's got all of us there when they actually dropped the build. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, to live.
Yeah, so that was an experience that we can share with you.
Yeah.
They had cool concept art on the wall that we've all seen, but it's just cool to see it up there.
Everybody was really cool to talk to as well. Just
everybody was very open to talk to us, right?
Yeah, like I ask questions that I would think that would maybe get like a quick 1 or 2 sentence answer, and they would give us paragraph answers, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really looking forward to sharing those interviews with you guys. We haven't had a chance to edit them out yet, but once they're edited up, we'll have them on the podcast. I'm hoping that we can have that all done and ready for you guys for Wednesday.
Next week,
Yeah, so, but what that's going to mean is I'm going to have to do some, take my channel down just for me to edit on those things. So there'll be times during my 24-hour stuff that I won't have the channel up, and that just means that I'm editing video for that. Also, before I left for PAX, I had put up all the videos for Redacted, but when we got to the hotel, because I was so excited, I totally forgot to continue scheduling everything. So last night I went through and scheduled everything. So the first video actually just went up at 1 o'clock today, and they'll be continuing. And then remember, if you guys have any questions, to type in !question in chat, and not only will we answer that question here on the podcast, but that'll also get cut up and thrown up on the Redacted YouTube channel as well. And you can follow the Redacted YouTube channel at !redacted in my chat, or if you go to youtube.com/redactedtv. But yeah, no, it was a really awesome experience. It was chaotic. We were all over the place doing all kinds of stuff, like running around PAX in Texas and the most amazing barbecue ever, which was,
oh my god, I was talking about that last night.
I phoned Twerk halfway through PAX in the vain attempt to get him to tell me stuff, but he wouldn't. But stuff he would tell me about those sources, how drunk you were.
Yeah.
Well,
because that was
how drunk I was.
The first night.
How drunk I was. How drunk everybody was.
Yeah, but the first night,
and
there's always one guy that's more drunk than everyone at every party.
The first night was definitely me. Yeah.
I heard that was Captain Richard.
No, second night was Captain Richard for sure. Yeah, second night was me. Third night was you. And fourth night was Admiral Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was good.
But Twerk had to intervene with.
I had to shove. I usually shove people only in hockey rinks, but I had to shove Captain Richard off the camera.
Twerk save official.
I saved butt cam from coming out.
Do you play ice hockey, Twerk?
Yes.
That was obvious from that shove.
For the record, we just call it hockey.
Yeah,
ice hockey.
They have field hockey.
We have field hockey in Canada
Europe.
as well.
That's like a big deal. It's like much bigger deal over there.
We've got lots of different hockey here.
Yeah.
I mean, ice is kind of hated in England. It just damages transport and like logistics. Snow, we can't deal with snow or ice. God, no, yeah, that's why we don't have any sports with ice. Oh, even our ski slopes are dry ski slopes. No ice.
It's just
Get out of here.
I was gonna say it's just rocks and snow, but there's no snow.
There's literally no snow. We hate snow.
Yeah.
You pretend we like it when we're young. You just pretend. Then you get to a certain age, which is, I don't know, when you're about 16, you don't have to go to school anymore, really. You just go, hang on, snow's shit.
Also, I did the Bennies emote. So I started a new emote last week, and I also made a wallpaper and t-shirt design. So the t-shirt's going to be coming out soon. But I'm just going to show you guys this real quick. This is the Bennies wallpaper, and that's going to be the shirt, obviously without the background and the side noodles. Low MSG, high salt. So the Benny thing has been sort of a Star Citizen phenomenon lately, and so I'd done it before, but I said, you know what, let's one-up it again, and let's go and do the Benny's run, and I still need to go and cut it out, but I did it in an Avenger, and then we got the Benny's machine all the way up to the very top, up the stairs in Korea, in the corner, up where there was no lights and it was glowing in there and stuff. And then I protected the Benny's machine for a while. But that was really, really awesome and a lot of fun. This week, I've been doing a lot of running people through the 18 waves of Vandal Swarm. A lot of people still haven't done Vandal Swarm, especially if they're new. So I was like, you know what? At the beginning of every stream, I'll bring in 4 people or 3 people, including myself, and I'll carry them through if they need to be carried, or they can, you know, participate if they'd like, and make sure they get their aggressor badge and their ability to rent a Vandal glaive. So that's been really fun. Just, you know, playing with new people and stuff like that. I also started a thing yesterday called a timed pirate run. And this is sort of a challenge that I'm going to put out to the community, to everybody, including you guys here, anybody who's watching. If you have the ability to play Star Citizen and record it, basically what a pirate run is after you've requested a ship and you're in your ship, start a timer, or just record this video. So as soon as you take off, the timer starts, and you need to go over to the security post Korea. You have to kill a ship. You have to get on foot and kill a player with a rifle or a pistol. Get back to your ship and go land back at Olisar. And once you're out of your ship and you have control over your character, the timer stops in Olisar.
I would like to reiterate, to say that when Source was explaining this to me, he did say that the first iteration of this was less murdery.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was. But the problem with that was everybody else was more murdery. So what happened was, it originally was going to be a comm relay, complete the whole thing, repair station, fully repair, and then go to the center of Security Post Korea, and to one of the computers. But the problem with that was people knew I was doing that, especially as streamers. When I was in the middle of a comm array, they'd just show up and blow up my ship, and then I couldn't finish it. Or when I was, trying to do other stuff, I just, as at the repair station, they'd blow me up while I was repairing. So this way, you can, with the Time Pirate run, we're going to be able to, people are going to be actively wanting to hunt you down, and that's okay, because that's sort of part of the entire run. And for the record, I set a benchmark of 5 minutes, 14 seconds, and 45 milliseconds. So
those milliseconds,
get them in there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I might pick up something. Yeah, I might pick up something like a Retaliator or something like that, and if we can get somebody. I'll have to figure out that stuff later, but I'll make it into a little competition where people can win a ship.
Cool. Can I enter?
Yeah. Anyone can enter. Twerk can enter. Yeah, but you have to have the top time for that. So that was something really fun, and that's something I kind of want to focus on more of our stuff. I know we hung out with Test, and we were talking to Test. We want to do some Aurora bowling, where we get a bunch of Aurora's vertical.
Yes.
And then we take a glaive from far away in cruise and see how many pins we can knock down. So
it's gonna be fun.
That should be.
Has to be in cruise. Fun. I like that.
Yeah.
Gotta be cruise.
Yeah,
everyone has to die.
That's what makes it fun, right? So, yeah, that's kind of what we've been up to. Obviously, the PAX stuff was insane. I talked to a lot of vendors. We ran around. We saw there was a lot of Star Citizen presence there for no Star Citizen people being there. We hung out with Will Lewis. He came over. We couldn't get into his booth, and he was kind enough to bring his booth to our hotel room. And he was originally rushed because he wanted to go to a party, but he decided that he wanted to hang out with all of us instead. So he hung out with us instead of going to some other thing, and we all went up to the test the test party, and they had their streams going and everything there. It was really fun. Just a lot of really cool people. People were super friendly in general. But
it was a really good time. Like I had said before that I don't think PAX was really a place for me personally, but the people, so like actually meeting Star Citizen people was absolutely for me. It was super awesome, super fun.
Yeah.
But the actual event, I don't think, was a place that I enjoyed too much. I know you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was very like really busy.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
really
busy.
busy.
Overwhelming. The first day, I just was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
like for me when I first went in there, it's like I don't know how to convention, so
Yeah,
because it was kind of
exactly.
my first thing, and so yeah, trying to do that, especially without like a phone, makes things difficult and stuff. But talked to a lot of really cool people, made some really awesome contacts. And I didn't have like nobody was unfriendly.
No.
And every restaurant calls you sir. Every restaurant, like
That's
no
because
matter what.
America
Yeah.
has an amazing customer service kind
Yeah.
of. Like,
Because
you
tips.
tips.
Yeah.
Because tips.
Yeah.
Because
But-
tips.
In the UK, customer service is something that's extremely lacking. You get no one that wants to do customer service, like to be a career waitress. Well, very few career waitress or waiters, because you don't get the tips, and
Yeah.
there's no impetus for you to want to do that as a role. Whereas in America, you're smiling because the happier and the more friendly you are, the more money you make.
Well, it's the same here in Canada, and we're like super friendly and everything, but it was like yes sir, no sir, right away sir. It was like, you know, I felt like somebody's dad. you
That's
know,
how
maybe
it
you
is
are.
here.
Maybe you
Yeah.
are Saurus. Who knows? Who knows how many kids you might have by now?
it's not joke
All
about
in
that.
America.
All over America. Yeah, jeez.
But yeah, so just another friendly reminder, guys. If you have any questions, exclamation point question, whether it's about PAX, whether it's about Star Citizen, our channels, whatever you want, feel free to get those questions in there. So news. We have some new Caterpillar concepts soon. I guess, Twerk, I guess you know more about this than I do because I haven't seen this around the verse.
Yeah, I mean that one's pretty simple. They basically just said Gurmak is Gurmak's on it. Obviously, he's awesome. So he's done so many good ships. The Carrick, the Merlin, the Archimedes. What else has he done? I think he worked on some of the Mustang once. The other guy left for, I can't believe I'm calling him the other guy because he was super good.
Yeah, no, we know him as the other guy.
Yeah. So he's like, out of like all the ships that kind of are, to me personally, are the coolest designs, he's working on it. And I think it's really cool. So he's working on concepts for them. So we've seen the old concepts of the Caterpillar. And now that they've done a lot of research on the design for it, we're going to maybe see the concepts of the Caterpillar in working form, right? So like maybe some of these modules that we've seen, we might see some doors open or some, salvage happening, things like that. So I don't know what we'll see in the concepts. They didn't mention it. They just said Gurmak's doing the concepts. But
Yeah.
I think it can kind of get your mind turning a little bit about what we might be seeing.
And literally
in terms of that stuff.
everything that he's put together has been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is, for me, my favorite ship that I'm looking forward to is the Caterpillar, with its modularity and everything, and its abilities to do things. So I'm
It's
looking
going to have
forward
lots
to
of
this
stuff
quite
we
a bit.
don't know yet, though, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of it's something to look forward to.
What
see,
I
like,
mean is
what's
that
there.
obviously Disco said that it does something that no one else knows about yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, a while ago he said it does something that no one else has discovered yet.
I never
it
heard
can
that.
Also, I mean, we know that its pod can detach from it.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have kind of seen it as like a link between multiple ships docking with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
To make
So
like
I'm
little
thinking that
station or something.
Yeah, so I'm making maybe flotillas.
Ooh.
There could be lots of different crazy stuff you could do. Yeah, sorry, Soros, I interrupted.
No,
I'm
it's
really,
all good. It's all good. It's dude,
I mean-
I'm just as excited about it. And yeah, like the modularity of those front things from when Randy Vasquez showed us some of the stuff he was like white boxing out. I'm really excited to see where they're going with this.
Yeah. Definitely pumped.
Did you see the cutlass inside it? Yeah.
No.
No.
So in one of the concept art that I saw of it, a cutlass can land inside one of those compartments, and then its engines were used to help power it, to give it more maneuverability.
What?
Oh no, that was
Yeah,
a fan.
Was that player
creation.
made?
Yeah, it was player made.
Or a fan created?
Oh, was that
Yeah.
player made?
It was fan
I thought it was
created. Yeah,
Such
concept.
a good idea, though.
Oh, man.
It was cool because it had like on the
cool,
side, right? On the side it went across and it dipped down and it came back up, kind of like a puzzle piece. And the two rear thrusters sat outside the puzzle piece, and then it closed up on the top, so it was just the thrusters that maneuvered that came out of the side. And yeah, and it sort of carried the.
That's
the
still
cutlass
awesome.
in it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Really, really awesome. I mean, that's a ship I think everyone's looking forward to. That was $350, right? That ship.
Thinking
about-
250,
250.
245.
245 even. Yeah,
Better.
gonna get
Gonna
it.
have that. I'm gonna have
Bring
the
it up.
credit for it. So I'm pumped about that. It makes it easier.
See, all of my store credit and possibly my reclaimer. 'Cause at the
Don't
moment I've
you
got
dare.
reclaimer,
your
not the
reclaimer.
Orion. Not the Orion, the reclaimer. I will melt for the new Corvette, the light Corvette.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little. We'll sort of talk about that in a little bit. The next thing that's on the docket is Jeremiah Lee's concepting some more clothes. So they're getting ready for 2.2 and persistence and all that stuff. So clothes is, I think, going to be the thing that we're going to see kind of.
Yeah, I have the image up here with the
Share it,
jackets and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
So that image doesn't actually show Jeremiah Lee. It's some other guy. So I don't know if these are the things that he was actually working on, but this was actually posted to Sandy's Facebook recently. And I don't know. It's going to show persistence. It's going to show character customization. I wonder how it's going to affect the PU and when we go flying. Like, for example, I put on my shirt. Like, when we go into the mini PU, I'm assuming that we're not going to be having these clothes because you get out of your ship and you're in clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And your ship has a no tops allowed policy, doesn't it, work?
Exactly.
Just
No
everyone
mine
has
is-
to take their tops off.
Mine is no pants. No pants
Yeah.
that are allowed on my ships.
No bottoms allowed here.
That's how we work.
But yeah, I mean, so that's it, just showing like a lot of stuff. What I thought was a little weird, and I mentioned this when we saw it when we were in Texas, doesn't that look a little 2016? A lot of those clothes we're looking at, and not a lot of
Like super
2946.
futuristic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's. Yeah, I mean, what is 2946 to you though, right? So this may be something like a style that works on Terra or something
It's
like that.
retro,
You know, it could be.
the retro style.
But it's also something that's familiar to us and doesn't look a little too alien, right?
Yeah,
so-
like I've seen somebody wearing that leather jacket and a hoodie before.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
yesterday.
we're at quite a peak of manufacturing clothes now, really. And they've got to take inspirations from somewhere, and they're not developing whole new magical materials. They're not going to go,
Yeah.
there's Superprene, which is you throw it at yourself and it shapes into whatever you're thinking. They're going for cotton, they're going for leather, they're going for stuff that's all part of them manufactured currently. So they've got to take their inspirations from somewhere, and I think this is a good way to go. I mean, yeah, at the moment the stuff we've seen isn't futuristic; it's postmodern at best. I mean, it's good. I like it. I enjoy it. I can see it in the future, sort of.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Got bloody spacesuits.
The
What do you
things
want?
that they're putting there are pretty. They're like suits haven't changed in a long time, right? Overall, really, like very minor, subtle things with suits have changed, but they're very timeless. I guess is what I'm getting at. So, you know, maybe the hoodie is pretty timeless. You know, or
Yeah.
zip up.
I like it. I like
yeah.
it.
I mean, I
them.
love
like
zip up
them.
hoodies. Like, it's not that I don't want a zip up hoodie. I love those fucking things. But
I think the thing that we see a
Whatever.
lot in sci-fi and sci-fi clothing in other games and films and stuff is accessories. So they'll have stuff like this, but then there'll be thousands of accessories and pouches and grenades and things everywhere that we kind of associate with clothing. So maybe there's going to be a huge amount of accessories so we can make it look super futuristic, whether you're wearing a hoodie or not. Got your hoodie on, and then you've got your futuristic shit everywhere.
yeah. So, yeah. That's true. Again, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for that. So I can't wait till we're walking around and we get to design ourselves and be unique. So it's just nice to see they have a lot of pictures there, and we're going to see it soon. So pretty pumped about that. So one thing that we should all be excited about is the party system is improved in Austin. So a lot of back-end work was done to the servers to allocate space for party members, and also working with behavior to improve UI elements to the system. So the system isn't the greatest right now. I hope one of the things that they might have implemented to the UI is when you're actually in let's say an arena commander match, you can't add any new players that are like, hey, add me, man. So you have to go all the way back, close your party that you're in, and add the guy, then re-add everybody. So hopefully that's one of the things that they were working on. But yeah. So it seems like very soon we'll be able to play with our friends, which is pretty exciting.
That party system
Yeah.
so
Well,
needs to revamp. I'm so glad that they're sorting it.
Yeah, we need to be able to get into games with our friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Let's face
essential.
it, Star Citizen content for YouTubers and streamers will improve severely once we can get into games together properly. Yeah.
And they also had an interview with Mark Skelton, which was something we would have loved to have when we were in Austin, but he was out in LA. So Disco Lando did an interview with him, and they talked about Hurston. And the layout's complete, so they figured out like the kind of layout that they want. White box is in progress, which we actually, so when you guys were seeing it, we were seeing it in Austin, so that was pretty cool. So we both saw the same thing the same day. It's pretty cool looking. And some of the things that Jake Ross talked about on the ATV that they're going to be adding to Hurston is another shop. So we're going to see new shops, because this is what they're calling like hero landing zones. So at the hero landing zones, there's going to be unique shops to these areas. So McClear's is a blue-collar clothing shop, because Hurston's mostly a blue-collar planet. They said, so there's a lot of workers there, but there's also some high-class like pockets. So there's going to be some high-class stuff there too, but McClear's going to be like that staple shop, like what's the one in our
warehouse or something.
Yeah,
in real life.
And
you're thinking of
no, I'm saying like the one in ArcCorp is going to be the staple one there. So there'll be a staple
outlet.
Yeah, Casaba outlet. It will be the staple in ArcCorp. McClear's will be the staple shop in Hurston, which is pretty cool. Now Hurston, like just like all the other systems in Stanton, Hurston is a company that makes something. At ArcCorp they make engines. At Hurston they make weapons. So there's going to be a shop called Hurston Dynamics Showcase, and that's where you're going to shop for Hurston items, but also special Hurston items. So this is where they're coming in finally, now that we have like more than one landing zone, where you have to go to a certain place to get a certain item, right? So to get your special Hurston weapon, you have to go to Hurston to get it, which is pretty cool. So because of that, they're going to bring in more Hurston weapons in the very near future, I would think, because they actually need to populate that shop with something. Because I don't know what weapons we have that are Hurston right now off the top of my head, but because I can't think of many of them, I don't think there are many of them at all. And then another unique place, which I guess it's sort of unique, it kind of reminds me of Dumper's Depot in ArcCorp, but they're going to have a reclamation/disposal shop, I guess.
The salvage one, yes.
Yeah, so there's a place for salvagers to bring their scraps and sell them for profit. So this is just me speculating. It might be likely that salvaging may come online when Hurston does. Who knows? But that's pretty much for what
seems reasonable.
Yeah, what's on the plate for Hurston, which is pretty cool. The first lighting pass on the Scout is complete. The Scout's well on its way, and this is kind of going to tie into what we're going to talk about next. The Scout will be a unique rental to Imperator subscribers. So
if you don't
if you don't own it. So there is some big updates to the subscriber perks. So if you want to put, I guess, the second link on the page there, it's a they revamped the whole subscriber page.
The updates to subscriber perks?
The second link you can put up.
The one that's discussion, right?
No, the second one. You don't
just
see
the
the other one?
subscriptions page?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
There was something weird about that video they did for the subscriptions page, because there's a video of Ben and Sandy explaining the subscriptions as well.
Oh, I haven't even
And
seen that video. Okay.
And the weird thing is that it's the least cringeworthy, awkward video they've done together ever.
Is that what was weird about it?
Yeah.
Because they were so business, probably.
It was. I would say that they've probably rehearsed that before.
Now you said it's an Imperator sub perk, correct?
Yes,
so that's
I believe
the
it is.
$20 a month,
Yes.
and not the $10 a month one. That's interesting.
No. Yeah. So I'll go through almost everything that's in there. So basically, they revamped subscriptions completely. So what old perks do remain for both Imperator and Centurion subscribers. So Centurion is $10 a month. Imperator is $20 a month. And these are just subscriptions for you to donate monthly to allow. This is when, like, on 10 for the Chairman, Chris says, thank you for the subscribers for making these things happen. That's what this is. So the old perks that remain: Hangar Flare. Centurion, the $10 gets 1. The Imperator gets 2 Hangar Flare every month. You get the subscriber forums, the Sub Vault, Jump Point, and the ability to ask questions on the 10 for the Chairman shows, as well as on those special RTV episodes each month. And you get merchandise discounts as well. One of the perks that got removed was you will no longer be able to name a pirate.
Yeah.
So
both Centurion and Imperator have your name in the game, but you're not going to be able to design a pirate.
Exactly. So what everybody kind of got up in arms, because there was maybe a few people that were like 2 months away from being able to name a pirate, and that was something they were really excited about. So if you're just hearing about this now and you're pretty close and you really want to be able to name a pirate, like Stubby Leg or something like that, you should message not concierge, but just help. Yeah, customer service, and they will kind of help you out with that. So
Politely, do it politely.
Yeah, do it politely. Always be polite. Always be polite.
So I'm really interested in. So if people are watching this on YouTube, put it in the comments, and if you're watching it now, put it in the chat. Do you are you subscribers? Are you interested in subscribing, or do you not care, or do you think it's expensive? Do you think it's useful, or do you think it has anything that you would use? Just curious about people's opinions on it. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. I mean, it's important because these are the things that are making pretty much all the content that we see every week happen. So it's something that they definitely are taking seriously, because that's why they're changing things. So now, actually, what's been added is every month, I think they did a big drop for us where they gave us a bunch of REC for being subscribers, but now it'll be a monthly drop. Has it always been a monthly drop? I don't remember it being.
Yeah, it's
something
a monthly thing.
No? Yeah.
Has it? Okay, so then we'll rehash what each one gets. Is Centurion subs get 20K per month, and Imperator subs get 40,000 rec per month. So maybe that's up or down. I don't know. Something that I just got recently: if you've been a subscriber for a year as a Centurion, $10, you get a 10% discount up to $50. That's the $50 discount. So if you spent $500, you would get $50 off, which is pretty cool. And I think they're tradable. So I think I might be doing a giveaway for one pretty soon. You get a special decal for your ship, and like Source said, you'll be able to name somebody in the game. So I'm assuming an NPC. And then Imperator subs, which this is really where I want to have the discussion with you guys, is they have 40K a month rec access. Now they also get access to all the alien ships coming out. The Size, the Glaive, the Scout. I'm assuming, if the Banu's rentable, or any other alien ships coming in the future.
The Tavaran when it comes out.
Yeah, the Tavaran one. The only way you're going to be able to rent these ships in game is now through subscribing $20 a month. And they also get a 20% code discount up to $100. But the discussion I really want to have is, I know as a streamer, and I know probably Source and Board as well, as other content creators, a lot of people come to us and say, what's with the $15,000 package? And we always say, don't worry, you only have to spend $45. You can get in the game, and then you can get everything else that's flyable with Rex.
Right.
You can buy everything in game, right? Now, I know this is just for testing, but isn't it becoming, like, it's not pay to win, but it is pay to test that individual ship? Is it not?
Yeah.
No, so it's definitely pay to have a time advantage early on in the game, but because you're gonna, if you've got $15,000 worth of ships, you have more money than anyone else effectively.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. We know that. But what about this rental thing?
We're talking about you need to be a subscriber to rent ships. No, it's not irrelevant.
That's not.
It's
relevant.
No.
Game.
No. But okay, so you're letting people. You're letting people play the game. You're having a subset of these players who need to pay $20 a month just to access these ships if they don't own them. Whereas every other ship, everybody else can rent, right? With the exception of the Scythe.
You can buy, you can rent.
No. I suppose you're right. Sorry, so that I was thinking totally from my own perspective, thinking, well, it's relevant to me. So I totally understand there are some other people that do play Arena Commander and will see it as pay to win. If there are massive imbalances in the ships that they make them exclusive. So if the Giant Scout is super powerful and wrecks all the other ships, and only some people can have it. That will need to be rectified.
For me, it bothers me even more than that. I don't care if it's more powerful or not. I want to be able to try it. For example, I own all the alien ships anyways now, as of last week. But if I didn't own them, I pay $10 a month anyways, right? To be subscribed to them, but I'm still not allowed to rent those ships. Whether you're a subscriber or not, this is a game that you've backed for. And now I understand them wanting to give more perks to subscribers, but I think this is the wrong way to do it. From my perspective, I think that they shouldn't be doing this. I
don't mind early access to it. I think that's not a bad idea.
Like the first week, week of them being out, only those subscribers can get them, then sure. But as a permanent thing, I don't like it. The Scythe, sure, keep the Scythe, right? Because everybody can get the glaive anyways. But
that's a good point. Yeah,
right, and they're super similar. But it's like everything else, right? The Giant Scout. I know for me, if I didn't have these ships, it was something I wanted to try and I wanted to show.
Exactly.
And
now, I'm looking at
to
it
sort of force my arm to do that. It's like, well, I already have $9,000 in the game. I already give you $10 a month. I already have hundreds of thousands of hours, or not hundreds of thousands of hours, hundreds to thousands of hours in the game, right? So why am I being excluded, and why are you trying to sort of squeeze those last drops out of me? And to me, that that gets under my skin a little bit, personally.
Now, I don't think that's why they did it. I think they were looking for, we want to give exclusive perks to subscribers because they're subscribing for so much.
I definitely agree with that.
The reason I want to have this conversation with you guys is not from that perspective, not from the actual player's perspective, but when you're sitting here as a content creator and people don't understand Star Citizen, it's really hard to explain to them without telling them,
it's more fragmentation.
So you can rent these ships, but you can't rent that ship, and then it makes it a little more difficult to explain the process. It's a lot easier to say you can rent everything in game that's flyable. I liked when that.
I know. I'm just saying like random stuff, and we have no actual say in what they do, unless enough people rise up.
Get your pitchforks.
What about getting all of the ships that are flyable access if you've got Imperator while you've got it? So all the wreck ships you just have access to without having to spend wreck. Because I think that's a good idea.
I would be happier with them doing all the alien ships without wreck.
Yeah, so
for them,
my idea is that you can rent any ship that's flyable with wreck.
Yeah.
But Imperators will get all ships without having to spend wreck.
Well, then there's no point for wreck for the
that's what I was thinking.
Sure. There shouldn't be any point for wreck with them. So for me, that's what I want the subs, because some of the subscribers are going to be subbing to get the extra rec, and the reason they're subbing to get the extra rec is because they don't have time to play. So they want to be able to play on the weekends. They want to be able to play when they can play. So just giving them
new weapons and so on.
So giving them access to all of it at that top level would allow people that aren't subbing to be able to get all that stuff anyway by playing the game.
Yeah, that's a way better.
Way better and it's only rec stuff. So I mean, you can rent that stuff by playing a few games anyway.
Yeah, like I know why they put rec into the game. It was to test some sort of monetary system, but we've had this discussion before when you couldn't rent ships. So when you can only buy ships to play with them, and they were having I would assume they were having some issues with
that around constantly.
Yeah, and they were having issues with trying to figure out like balance because not everybody had all the ships. So why wouldn't you give people access to all of the ships. Now, again, like some people are saying, oh, that makes it pay to win. It only it makes it pay to play still, because it's pay to try a ship. Because again, like, come on, like just because the Xi'an Scout's one of the ones that that is going to be in this like situation, that doesn't mean that it's going to be the best ship in game when it comes out.
No,
it might be a crappy ship.
But to me, it's not about.
That's what we have.
It's not about whether the ship's good or not. That's irrelevant.
It's
to
about
the point.
Trying it.
It's not trying it out.
We're talking about our own opinions of what pay to win is, and it's going to differ vastly.
Well, this isn't even a talk about pay to win. To be completely honest, this is a discussion of it's like
what should subs get?
What should subs get, and is it fair to everybody else? Like, I understand that they are helping out that significantly more, but it's what if they, like, we know that the Vandal Glaive, for example, is super expensive to rent, right? What if they made another thing they could do is they can make all the alien ships really expensive to rent, and they could, instead of giving it to completely free, and they could say, okay, Imperators get 90% off the rec cost, and Centurions get 50% off, right? So there's still other ways to do it instead of locking out an entire base. So now when people come into my channel, they're like, oh hey, and I'll say, oh, don't worry about it, you can rent everything. But then you got to subscribe, and then I have to explain what the subscribing is all about and why it's not necessary, but it helps them out.
I would very much like all of the ships that are flyable to go to the rec store. In my head, there's no reason for them not to.
Yeah.
But you can make them really expensive if you want. But I want the Retaliator. I want the Constellation in the rec store now. I want the Scythe, really. I mean,
there's no reason they shouldn't be in there.
Well, we're testing them out.
Yeah. I mean, how are they going to know the Scythe is good? How are they going to test the Scythe when 600 people have it?
Compared to other ships, I mean, they can get the QA guys to do a certain amount of balance.
Yeah.
But having 10,000 people do it, you get a lot more data, and it's a lot more useful. So, I mean, I would desperately want, please, CIG, give us all the ships in the rec store. You can make them as expensive as you want, but it's something that we want. Like, and we do, don't we? We want to be able to play with all those ships without having to faff around with store credit.
I mean, I see where they're coming from, because I think some people are saying in the chat sub shouldn't get advantage. Now, I don't think being able to fly the Scythe or the Glaive or the Scout is giving anybody an advantage. It only gives you an advantage if those ships just for some godforsaken reason are all over. At the moment, neither the Scythe or the Glaive are. So it doesn't give you an advantage. It just gives you the ability to play
with those ships,
with those ships. That's it.
Which you're going to be able to earn in game anyways. Yeah, everyone can rent the Glaive. Yeah, everyone, as long as you unlocked it. But I think what the Imperator does is make it so you don't have to unlock it. Now, if that's what they're doing with the alien ships, then I totally retract my statement. If they're making it so there's a way to unlock, like with the Glaive, you have to do complete all 18 waves in Vandal Swarm. If there's something like that, like maybe you have to hit a certain time in racing for the Xi'an Scout or something like that, and then it's unlockable to everybody, but Imperators, they don't need to do that at all, then yeah, that's great. That's fine, and I totally take my thing back, but the way that it looks and the way that it's worded, that's not how it is.
Yeah. I mean, and going on to that conversation just a little bit, this is going off from the subscribers a bit. There has to be a way where we can rent the larger ships like the Constellation and Retaliator, where they're only in Olisar. Like, there has to be a way to just gray them out in Arena Commander and not gray them out in Olisar. There's got to be a way.
You don't need to necessarily gray them out in Free Flight. Oh, you could.
Well, they just do the same thing that the big ships do now, right? If you own a Constellation, you can't bring it into those, but you can bring it into Olisar. It's the exact same thing. They just need to use it with the rec thing. And I agree with that completely. I think all the ships should be in there for people to try.
Like one of the things that we can definitely share about with that Lando spoke about when we saw him at the offices was everything's about priority, right? So
everything was about iteration.
No, it's about priority. So like getting those two ships rentable with I think it's Behavior. I can't remember I think it's Behavior or the website guys, or Turbulent is the website guys, right? So with getting with the website guys, they might be really busy on other things. You know, we heard a little talk about Orgs 2.0. There might be things that are have more prioritization than that. Maybe that is on their mind. It just hasn't hit number one on the priority list yet. But I mean, I think in our minds it would be great to be able to do that because everybody wants to be able to test those things. How great would it be if they did a situation of testing where everyone can test the Constellation and the Retaliator, these larger ships, and every pad could hold them, and you just kept launching them into game and see what that did. You know, what frame rate would you get then, and so on. That's why they only have 2 pads. But I think they might get some good data or something from that. I'm sure they've done it before, you know. But, yeah. So I mean, definitely, I see where they're coming from. I like that they're trying to give back to their subscribers. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Bored and Source, but I know that, you know, when people give me money for putting up content that I would put up for free, I want to give back to them as much as I possibly can. And I know that CIG had good intentions here. I think we all have to probably agree with that. But at the same time, it does feel a little...
Yeah, we basically, we don't want a situation where subscribers are paying, or people are paying to get an advantage other than the purchase of ships.
Exactly. Like, how long down the line are we going to go as ships come out that subscribers are going to get access to that your regular player doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll let it get to a situation where it is unbalanced, because obviously people are very outspoken in the Star Citizen community. It's one of the reasons I quite like it, because people get quite talkative about their issue, and then it dies down after a balance is made.
Totally.
But yeah, we don't want a pay to win situation, really. I really like fighting against pay to win stuff. So for me, it's a little bit different. So when people have these big expensive ships in game, that's when I want to beat it with an Avenger, an Aurora LN. I want someone to turn up with their saber, and I kick their ass in Aurora LN because I've got a good loadout for fighting against them or something. And that's the joy of Star Citizen, is it's going to be highly skill based, highly situational based, and ships are not the be all and end all in all situations. Everything's going to be situational.
Absolutely. And I don't we got a lot to get through, so I don't want to harp on that too much, but I think we kind of shared how we feel about it, and I hope, you know, somebody hears it and they kind of, you know, just take what we said and think about it a little bit, because
please share your opinions, guys, because we know you have them.
Yeah, exactly. Always share your opinions, because people are always listening, and they might go, oh yeah, you know, maybe we should do it this way next time or whatever. Like, everyone loved the glaive earning of the ship.
Yes.
I would love to continue.
I still love doing
that.
It gives us not only is it give people a reason to play a specific game mode, it allows us as content creators and to play with our communities, and it gives a sense of accomplishment when you do it, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there's a thing at the end that you get out of it, and it would be cool to see. Now, I know there's only so many things that they can do with that kind of stuff, but it would be cool to see more of that in the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So they finally fixed the audio distortion bug.
Thank God.
Well, at least we think they fixed it. I know I went through
that little caveat at the end. At least we think they fixed it.
Well, I think they, even in the patch notes, it said we think we've got it down. You know, so I didn't hear it yet. I went through and did every Comrie mission, every ICC mission, and the Kovalex mission, and went to Korea and shot some people. No distortion bug. So I've never been able to do that yet. So I think it's fixed, but we'll see in the future. Frankfurt is working on patching improvements. So Frankfurt are the guys that are going to kind of work on our new patcher and get that working. So I wrote in the doc, so it will be done in a week. Haha.
Yeah.
Because they just do everything
Frankfurt
like super
just
fast.
bangs stuff out like super quickly.
So as a joke, I was like, we'll have the patcher soon then.
It'll be the best patcher that's ever existed.
Ever existed.
Ever. Yeah.
They're also working on physics tools for procedure planets, and I think Brian kind of might have not leaked, but he almost did. He was like, so, you know, you'll probably see some stuff like that in a patch, and like he started like laughing, looked at his friend, and was like, patch soon. So who knows? Maybe it's in the next patch, the 2.2, 2.3, something like that. Who knows? Again, we got our first look at Hurston. So there was a video there.
And I can pull that up here.
Yeah. I don't know why that I put that there, but whatever. It looks really cool. So they kind of took this time with Mark Skelton, and they were explaining modularity with him. So how and modularity is repurposing the art assets that they have and using them in other places. So a lot of the stuff that's at Hurston is in the kind of, I guess, the Stanton set. So they're using pieces from R-Corp and just changing some things with them and using them from Hurston and making it look like Hurston. So then Nyx is also doing that. So Nyx is part of the Space Station Asteroid set, which actually started all the way back with the Asteroid Hangar. So all those things came from each other over time. So they built that set up from the Asteroid Hangar set to what they're calling the Space Station set. And that's how Nyx is being built. And then they'll have sets for all these planets going on and all these systems in the future. And, in the picture you look at it, I don't see R-Corp in those pictures. I see a new planet. But even if people are nervous about that, I mean, in the lore, it could just be the same company that built all the places on R-Corp built Hurston, right?
Well, as they produce more and more and more assets, it will become less.
Less like that.
I mean, I don't think it looked obvious at all anyway. So,
and let's face it, they're going for high fidelity and high quality visuals. They're not going to be samey. That's literally the opposite of what they're trying to go to. They want everything to have its own unique style and look and everything. And when they have these billions of assets or whatever, or thousands of assets, that's when we're going to start to see much more procedurally generated things in the future.
Because I can just grab from everywhere. Yeah,
that'd be so good. I hope they crack some crazy procedural tech in the future as well for more procedural universe stuff in the I'm ranting.
Just give it to Frankfurt. Just give it to Frankfurt.
Give it to Frankfurt. Let's sort it out.
Be done in 5 minutes.
Done.
So
it's done. Done now.
It's actually already done. We thought about it and they finished it. So then they had John Pritchett and some of the other guys and Calyx and the weatherman. I always called him. I forget his name, but they had them on to talk about the flight model. I didn't hear too much about anything other than they're kind of looking to improve maneuverability by revisiting the acceleration on the ships, so we slide less. Other than that, they're kind of excited to see how we chase each other using cruise mode. And then something that was also interesting is that IFCS will be more modular. So different companies might have different features with IFCS that others don't.
Or different models and
so I can't really comprehend how that might work yet, but who knows when we'll see that, but that's kind of interesting. And actually one of the most interesting things was just a little comment that John Pritchett made, and he goes, I don't want to model atmospheric flight. Don't want to do it. So what we're probably going to do is when you're flying on a planet, it's just going to be a little more turbulent because there's atmosphere. Because you're in
a little more turbulent.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting because people were all like, but atmospheric flight model is no. And so there you go.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
but it's how important is it to have a realistic atmospheric flight model in a game where you're basically just going into land and most of the flight models in space?
Exactly. If they were to change it,
it would make so many of the ships not flyable.
It would make so many of the ships not flyable, and they would probably change it in the very far future when we're flying around planets and bombing the ground, and if they ever did something crazy like that, right? Then they would come with some, when they had the time to research and develop that. Whereas if they did a whole nother flight model, what they also mentioned in this doc, they've been working on IFCS 2.0 for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they had to do an all over an atmospheric flight model, 3 years. It'll take a while,
I mean, they definitely don't need to do a full over atmospheric flight, in my opinion.
No, I'm cool with turbulence. I think some people are going to be
some effects of going into atmosphere. Well, no, that's fine, but and the concern's fine because The more people
yeah.
that are concerned, if people are genuinely concerned, they will start to add a little bit more of it. But I just think just having some parameters, just a few little procedure-generated parameters in the atmosphere of each planet, telling it that your ship is changed in the way it flies is enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's 1,000 years in advance. They can float. I'm cool with it. Ships can float.
Fuck it, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares about the Cutlass as well?
No, because, I mean, that wouldn't fly, right?
No, doesn't need to.
So, I can't believe so many people while we were in Austin, I didn't have time because I was drunk the whole time, but so many people in Austin watched RTV and ATV and all these things. This was on ATV. This was the sneak peek. I can't believe nobody mentioned this to me.
Yeah, no one mentioned it to us either.
No one
A
mentioned
railgun. This is the first time I've seen it. Right now is the first time I've seen it. And holy shit.
Can you imagine the back of a Cutlass or a freelancer opening that with 4 guys with railguns in the back because you're in the blind spot?
Are you fucking kidding me? This thing is amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I want it. Give it, you know what? Give it to Frankfurt so I can have it tomorrow.
Apocalypse Arms Scourge. I want
It's the first anti-ship weapon that's handheld or shoulder-mounted that we've seen, which and I'm glad they're thinking about it.
I want to watch it again.
I was watching it over and over again here because this is the first time I've seen it, so it is very much Apocalypse Arms.
Oh sure. Yeah, with that railgun, it is with the, I guess the.
And we also see the new visor in there as well.
Oh really? I didn't see it.
I think this looked very Halo.
Yeah, it felt like.
I think the visor is making it feel very Halo for you.
Yeah. That too. But I mean, wow. So I mean, I'm just in my mind thinking, you pop out of your ship at Korea. You know another ship's coming. He's gonna start shooting at your ship, and you just get out of your ship and just launch 2 shots at a ship and just explosion. Oh,
you go, what's happening? Because you start to animate to pick up a pistol from your back, and you pull out a railgun which locks to your arm.
Yeah.
Look, that's another thing. We'll probably move really slow when we get this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I can't wait. Imagine EVA with this thing.
This is the sort of thing that I want to take into an FPS environment. So we'll be taking a station, and everyone else will be having their shotguns and light armor, and I'm at the back lugging a railgun along.
Yeah. You're actually like pulling it with you.
Setting it up.
You can't even walk with it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so fun. I just can't. When I saw this today, because today was the first time I saw it, my mouth dropped.
That was the first time I saw it.
We talked about this on last week's podcast. How this would totally improve gameplay. And like, boom, there it was. I think they heard us. And they put all that together.
Maybe
we're going to see like rocket launchers and big laser cannons and stuff like that hopefully as well now. So,
oh, so exciting.
Yeah.
So, we got a free fly week.
Yep. Until February 8th.
Until February 8th. And you get a Mustang Delta, a Hornet F7C, and an Aurora LN. I think that's a great combination of ships to let people try, right? You know, most things are combat-based. You get the Delta with the sweet missiles. That you have to aim. The
Delta's got sweet weapons in general, though.
It's such a
the
cool
Delta's
ship.
a great cheap ship.
You get the feel of the Hornet.
Just going back to that weapon, Sunday just said in chat. Think about you have a pirate org or whatever, right? With those guys with the railgun, right? Sitting on some asteroids.
In the Caterpillar. No, in the Caterpillar.
Or in the Caterpillar. Yeah.
It's got holes through it, hasn't it?
Shooting out the side, or even sitting on an asteroid where you can't target them with a ship and you can't see them with ships.
Yeah.
Right, and it probably has some ship targeting stuff, hardware on it. I would imagine.
Gotta.
So it's like you can see them, but they can't see you, kind of thing. All of a sudden, I'm sure it glows like a sun when it fires.
Yeah, and you look over and you're like, oh shit, and you're just dead. Yeah.
No, it's cool.
So yeah, that's really awesome. I'm pretty pumped about that. Yeah, but going back to the free fly week, so that goes until February 8th, and you don't like a lot of the free flies before you have to put a code in. This one you don't have to put a code in. So if anyone's watching on YouTube or Twitch and you've never played Star Citizen before, today is February 3rd. You have 5 days until February 8th, 2016 to try these ships out. And again, Mustang Delta, Hornet F7C, and the Aurora LN. So you get a good combination of everything.
I would also I'd also encourage any people that troll as well to at least have a look at it so that you're more informed when you troll.
Exactly.
Yeah. And going back to not having any multi-crew ship, yeah, I've found that a lot of people, if you just ask in chat, which is F12, if you just say, hey, does anybody have a multi-crew ship that I can come check out? People are more than happy to show off the ships that they own.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
And let you fly them around and use them, yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that's really cool. So there's also, this was on RTV, there's 3 ships that are in concept stage, and one of them is the Pirate Interceptor. Me and Source kind of think that was that Buccaneer they had mentioned when they did the Cutlass.
It was the one they referred to as the Buccaneer, almost certainly.
Cool, so it's like the Cutlass, but
more good. Combat. Yeah, but good.
The light Corvette, which I know you two are obsessed with and can't wait to see.
But it's changed its name. It's gone from the Corvette to the new Corvette to the small Corvette to now the light Corvette.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it should be pretty awesome. I know you guys are pumped about that. And then the Tavarin boarding ship, which is the Prowler, which
is made by Asperia.
Yeah. So I got a little.
It's gonna be Egyptian, I think.
Oh yeah, I think definitely Egyptian. It has to be based on like the whole Roman Empire thing. But out of these 3 ships, do you guys remember on RTV where the special RTV I think it was, where Lando kind of started talking about a ship that might take people out of.
Oh yeah.
Where they're
interdiction ships.
Interdiction ships where they'd have like it was brought up about gravity wells, and then he's like, yeah, don't.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
So, out of these 3, you think the Buccaneer?
Well, the Buccaneer's probably too small.
Maybe.
Pirate Buccaneer, man.
But
Pirate Buccaneer.
Potentially, it could be all 3 of them. The light Corvette could have a module. I can imagine a Corvette having those kind of modules which pull people.
I mean, it could be a module on every ship.
Yeah.
And
the Tavarin boarding ship is
a boarding ship.
It's supposed to board stuff. It's supposed to capture it and grab it. So, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting though. It's got to be one. It's got to be one of these 3, right? These are the only 3 ships in concept, I think, at the time.
So are we? Because my original thought would be it was going to probably be the Caterpillar. Just have a module for the Caterpillar.
It could be that too. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of these 3. So it could be one of the ones that we haven't seen yet. Which I mean, the only other one.
It could be an Aurora, right? They need an interdiction. No, not an Aurora. An Avenger. Sorry, an Avenger is what I meant.
It could be an Aurora.
No, it could be. No, it could be. It could be an Avenger though, right? The Avenger is a police ship. It needs to interdict people. They could, instead of the EMP, have a gravity generator in there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Good point. So I don't know. It's just it's exciting to know what our next 3 are. You know, so we know what to expect now. I think a lot of people were like, "When are we getting this? When are we getting that?" So now we know. These are the next 3 that are probably something that we're going to see concept for. So. You know, as well as the Caterpillar.
In no particular order, by the way. We don't know the order of those.
No order at all, obviously. It's what they do everything. Yeah, they do everything in the order of when it finishes. So I remember back in the day, we were going to see the repair ship before we saw the Orion, but the Orion finished first. I remember they both were really close, and then they changed the concept. So things change all the time. But the next thing is they're hoping to get the Reliant in 2.2, which is the next major patch. So we might have like 2.1.3, 2.1.4, who knows? But when 2.2 actually drops, they really want to have the Reliant in there. And I posted a link in the doc there, Source, because today's most recent subvault, which I know Proxys always puts up on Reddit, shows the interior of it. So we could see kind of how far along they are, and they do seem pretty nice.
This is the Reliant interior, correct?
Correct. So they said, so the subvault was updated so we could see some of the Reliant, which is pretty cool. And then, but they also mentioned, just like I did before, they are not going to hold back content for release, and they will not hold back a release for content. You know, so like every month they're going to have what they have, and they're going to put it out for us. So they're not going to wait for this thing to finish to put it out, and they're not going to wait for the ship to finish to put the patch out. So
much of a better way of doing it. The time-based
much
releases.
better.
Okay.
Yeah. much better. So I don't know how I didn't get to look through it too much, but from what I did see, it was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, no, it is really cool to see all the little callouts for everything, and
so it's pretty exciting. That kind of starter pack multi-crew ship that, if it's a multi-crew ship that people can. It's cheap. It was $50 when it first came out. So I know some of the variants got a little pricier, but that one's really cool. So on top of that, I think everyone can't wait for this holotable fixes.
Yeah,
they're aware how terrible it is, and actually, I don't know if they're actually in the process of fixing it, but they have a layout that they want to use to fix it. So that's good to know that they're kind of there. They told us about holotable fixes forever.
Yeah.
Well,
we also saw some concepts of some of the holotable stuff they wanted to do, right?
A long time ago. So who knows if those have changed? I would assume that they probably have. And the concepts were kind of basic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
the holotable, I think, has always been a temporary solution until it gets into mobiGlas, from what I understood. But we have mobiGlas now too.
It's true. That's true.
So
it would be nice to manage it
why
from
spend
there.
the time working on this when you can work on getting it into your mobiGlas and having it in there, right? Why
they probably are working on the mobiGlas one, and it's taking time.
Yeah.
So they pay one person to bodge a fix with the holotape.
Yeah.
That's what I expect. That's an assumption.
Yeah. Possibility.
Yeah. And then we spoke about the Caterpillar progress a little bit. So Randy Vasquez, he got promoted to a producer. So yeah, good for him, man. So then Calix, Gurmak, and Elwin are all kind of taking Randy's baby and working on that and adding some pretty cool features. And then one of the last things was Carrick progress. So the Carricks actually got some sort of timeline now, and they said the internals aren't done, so that probably means the externals are, and that it won't be done until the Caterpillar's complete.
So that means we'll get the Caterpillar before the Carrick.
Yes, and well, the Carrick we thought was way off, like not until after Squadron 42, and that still might be the case. Who knows how far along they are on that, But then we had a little bit on time for the chairman. I only grabbed a couple things. One of the questions were, would we have time to repair internals? And he said, yeah, obviously. But at the moment, it's pretty rough right now. So we die really quickly now, so I can't imagine that you'd be able to repair things in time internally. So they really have to nail down multi-crew polish before they add repair in. So we won't see repair until they give us a lot of updates to multi-crew. And then when will the use button go away? And this is pretty cool. And they said when they drop in the item system, not necessarily the grabby hand system. So hopefully 2.3 or 2.4.
Yeah.
So and that's really it for news for this week. It was pretty heavy news week. There was a lot of interesting stuff this week. So
yeah, there was a lot of really cool stuff. And I'm a little sad that I missed all this stuff because we were in PAX. Because there were like that gun, for example, or
I know
all the stuff they were talking about. I mean,
you were in PAX. You were having a great time with all the fucking CIG employees, with Tess, with all those guys. Come on, man. Come on. You're not jealous at all. You're not jealous of us sitting on our asses watching. Yes, exceptionally so.
You're jealous.
That's okay. We'll all be able to get to CitizenCon
you're coming to CitizenCon.
or something like that. Yeah, you don't have a choice.
God.
I don't care what you say. You're coming to CitizenCon.
We have some plans for CitizenCon. Do you like how I did that with my fingers?
My passports.
Yeah, make sure your passport's all ready and good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into questions. And if anybody has any questions, add this exclamation point question in chat, and we will try to get them in here. The first one coming from Alito Pakis. What do you think about the idea of CIG implementing a system similar to Rockstar's GTA Online, in which after a player logs out, the player becomes an NPC for some minutes and then despawns? It'd be interesting to see in Star Citizen because during that short period of time, it behaves like a normal player. This is something I think they've actually talked about that they wanted to do. They wanted them to go to their bunk or hang out if they're in like ArcCorp or whatever and look on their phone and play around with their phone if they're AFK or logged out or whatever, and go maybe walk over to the bar, you know, and then walk to another building or something, like an apartment building, and then despawn in somewhere where nobody else sees them despawn. I think that's kind of what their plan is, or they've talked about that before. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think there'll be obvious instant logout places that aren't on ships. So, like, you go to the hotel room in Port Olisar, instantly log out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think
There
you would
should be
still
safe
be
places.
it would still be like, I would say the same thing for going into beds or going into whatever on ships, because as soon as that door closes, they can't see you anyways. No one can see you, and it.
No,
You can
so
see your shit.
there's going to be a difference between safe logouts and non-safe logouts. So safe
Yeah.
logouts will be in particular zones or when no one is near you.
Yeah, like you weren't involved in combat for X amount of minutes or whatever. You know?
And there's literally no one near you. So I'm thinking that maybe I'm thinking that even if you've got org mates near you, that you won't be able to safely log out, because you can go to your bunk bed and lie down. But if that ship explodes, you're still losing a life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know this for certain, but that's my educated assumption.
Yeah, this is how we think it
so-
probably should be.
Yeah, so if you're in a big ship, in your capital ship, that ship, if it's somewhere else in the verse and there's no one near it and every player is in bed, then maybe it will log out and disappear. I doubt they'll do the whole NPC thing unless it is literally just you've logged out in a bed and your NPC stays around that bed, or you've logged out and you don't really take any form of effect and you're in a safe area, because that would be fine to walk around. But not knowing if a player's online or not and having their name there still, that would be weird. So they'd have to, like in GTA, not have an effect on the world anymore. And then does that damage immersion? I mean, it's really hard to balance. It's an amazing question, because it leads up to loads of different things, like how are they going to do this? How are they going to do that?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know. I know that, like, I mean, there has to be a way to know. Like, they obviously know that when you've combated with someone else, like, there's a hit marker, and then if you attack a friendly, it says, you know, it lets you know not to attack friendlies. So the game obviously knows when you've been aggressive. So if you've been aggressive at some point, you can't log out. Like, that should be a thing, whether you go into the bed or not. Now, I think if you're in space and not a safe area, and even if you go into the bed, I just personally don't think it should be instant. I know, I mean, I always go back to Ultima Online, but that was one of the things that they did. There were safe logout spots. If you logged out in the safe spot, it was instant. Even if you were in a safe logout spot, but you were involved in combat at some point, even with a monster, you had to wait a few minutes before you logged out. So, or no, I think it was just with players, but whatever. If you were involved in stuff like that, then you had to wait 20 minutes, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, all in all, it's something we would like to see, I think, and is something they've talked about.
Yeah. We don't know yet.
Our next question comes from Alito Pockets again. Do you think the Aurora series has too many useless variants? I think this can also almost apply to other ships too. But the Aurora, for example, has a lot of variants, right? It's got, off the top of my head, the ES, the MR, the LX, the LN, CL, right? And I think that's it. I think that's 5 of them. There may be more. But do you think there are too many useless variants?
Yes, and there's a reason for that. Because originally the game didn't disassociate modules and variants.
You're stealing my answer. Yeah.
Sorry?
I said you're stealing my answer.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
apologize.
It's all of our answer. Because
The
it's the
game
right one.
didn't disassociate them. So we've got stuff like the Avenger, Stalker, Titan, and Warlock. Well, that's all just different modules in the back. The ship is identical, pretty much. And it's the same with a lot of the Auroras. The Aurora LN literally has a different structure, though. It has 2 extra hard points for weapons. So that is a different variant. When the hulls are different, that's a different variant. The rest of them, that's just internals.
Right. Yeah. A lot of it is the component system, essentially, right? Like, it's just different components on different things, and that's all that is. So, like BoredGamer said, the variants were before, you know, unique hull designs. Even if you look at the old Cutlass, where you had the different hulls
That's a proper variant.
Right.
Unique hull.
Right. Where or with the Constellation, where you have the Aquila and the Taurus and the Andromeda and everything.
I think they're not variants. I think they're modules.
I think they will be part of the module system.
Yeah, where they have the different cockpits. Yeah.
Currently
they're variants.
Yeah, they're variants, but I'm not sure if they should be. I think they might be modular. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
But that's why it before, when we didn't have the ability to swap and make LN/MR ourselves, right? You sort of had to choose one or the other, and that's it was based on the amount of money they made and how much work they could put into it. And as that keeps going, they're going to be able to put in more detail into some of the things. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for your question.
Yeah, when they get the rework of the Auroras, we'll see some change probably.
Exactly. So thanks for the question. Next one from Nice Tim.
Tim's
Of all the ships that aren't yet flyable, which are you most looking forward to?
Orion.
Yes.
And Saber as well. And Saber a little bit. And
you're only allowed to pick one. You're only allowed to pick one.
Orion, yeah.
The Orion.
Yeah. All right, obviously mine's the Orion, but other than that, it has to be the oh my god, the Carrack, because because exploration gameplay.
Yeah, the Carrack is very, very cool. I
agree
that it is very awesome, but it's not the ship I'm looking forward to. The one I'm looking forward to is the one they're working on right now, Gurmok, Caterpillar.
Yeah.
Caterpillar, give me my Caterpillar. I'm excited just thinking about it. Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much it. So this is going to be a really quick question and answer, and I'm going to put it up here. But Sunday of Doom asks if we saw anything Cutlass related while we were visiting CIG. If we did, I can't talk about it. So
I'm under NDA. Yeah. Sorry.
So whether we did or we did not is can't say anything.
But no, we can say one thing. We can say one thing. This was you were on the other side of the table when I was talking to Disco about this. The guys always get so much hate for the Cutlass.
Yeah.
And he was like, we all love the Cutlass. Everyone in the office loves the Cutlass. And he made this point that I think I never noticed and nobody that was around us noticed. They use the Cutlass in every video when they debut something. Every video. And the Cutlass commercial is one of the coolest. They use every video the Cutlass.
That's
people
part
the
of
planet.
Problem with the Cutlass, though. Yeah. They've sold the Cutlass to people being able to do everything, and they've made it sound sexy, and they show it off being sexy, and then they don't understand why people are like, well, but you've shown it doing this. Where's my female character model? I thought I got a female character model with the Cutlass.
Yeah.
I mean, they sell off doing everything. The people are going to get annoyed when it doesn't do what it says. Of course they are.
But we're talking from people the planet. It's just sitting there. They just love the ship. It's just people are always telling them that they hate the ship. They obviously don't hate the ship. That's the point that I'm making.
They like it too much.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good point.
If you had, so the next question here from Bymarks. If you were able to name a pirate, what would you name it, and why? This one for me is tough because I'm gonna be me. Otherwise, I would name the pirate me, and then so it's well.
I would name mine youtube.com/BoredGamerUK.
I don't know if that would work.
Trixie17 live on Twitch. No, it would. I would name mine probably Peg Leg Long Dong or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I would probably do something, a throwback to where my mom lives and where I grew up, maybe. I don't want to.
I'd name it after a fan or something.
Yeah, or maybe do some sort of crazy big giveaway and Yeah, that would be actually not a bad
I can't
idea.
use it to promote myself directly because I can't think of a way I can get some
I
sort
like
of QR code into a name.
Okay, let's I don't know how Twerk feels about this, but if we're allowed to name a character, we get the opportunity to name a pirate. Let's do that. Let's do
My referral code. Let's call it
my referral code.
What, you want to do
Yeah,
like
we'll
a
do it
subscriber or something?
Yeah, we'll do a subscriber giveaway for that or something.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%.
that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Because that's a subscriber giveaway I can do. So
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
That would be pretty awesome. And we have Alito Paucus with all the questions today. Asking, do you think you will get notified when there's a bounty on you? I know that a UEE set bounty will be broadcasted, so you'll probably find out. But what about criminal set bounties? Well, I think there will be different applications for both, right? So if you have criminal bounties, it still needs to get out to the bounty hunters. So if there's an application where bounty hunters can just check to see who has bounties, you would need one for the UEE, and you'd need one for, Captain Blackbeard's bounty app.
The only ones you won't really know are like internal corporation or ones
Right.
where they've got, let's get this guy, whoever does it, can get this money.
Without putting it out, yeah. Or like streamer ones or something.
So it's known that if you do something like that, and somebody's seen it, or maybe there's automated systems that have seen it. If you guys have seen, I don't know, The Fifth Element, where the guy's driving the taxi and he breaks these laws and he instantly is losing points on his license, and the car's computer is telling him, if you've done something wrong in an automated system or somebody's reported you and it went to the comm array near you, there's no reason why your computer won't tell you that there's been a bounty placed on your head. I would think that would probably be something that you would definitely hear, and probably instantaneously would be my guess.
It could say something like, please hand yourself in to the nearest area to prevent lethal force.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah, okay. I like that idea.
And then,
that makes sense.
Then you start the progress of changing your ship's ID and spoofing it, right? So,
yeah. So yeah, once again, thank you for the question. I think that's the best way to sort of deal with that, is having those things. And we know we can change like our ID and how people scan us, depending on the scanners they use and things like that.
I wonder how Elite Dangerous does it right now. When you perform a bad act, what happens? I'd be interested to know.
And it just alerts you.
Yeah, so if it alerts you, I would think Star System, it just kind of makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense for you to not know that there's a bounty on your head.
Right.
Right.
Our next question comes from Eric Ate My Pirate. Eric Ate My Parrot. I almost said Eric Ate My Pirate.
On the mind.
Yeah, the parrot and the pirate and everything. Jeez.
Yeah. Bones and all. Bones and hair and all. Asks, will we be able to see another concept, in brackets LTI, sale similar to the P-72 Archimedes again in the future, perhaps around the same price point? I think Chris Roberts is subtly trying to allow everyone who pledges the game before release to get an opportunity at LTI, despite the oldest 1% of citizens not liking it. I don't know if we're ever going to see anything as cheap as the P-72.
We might.
We sure will, I think.
With
the Drake Dragonfly, but we don't know. They said they even hinted that might come out after the game's released.
How about the 85X in the 890 jump? I think it's
the 85X.
Sold
separately?
Did we think the Merlin would get sold separately?
Well, so the X85 is more of an exclusive-ish thing for that yacht.
Well, but so is the Archimedes for the Phoenix.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah.
So the Argo and these other ships that come with them, with the other spaceships that can fit on other spaceships. There's no reason that they it's not like the Merlin, and even the Merlin's dock is going to be able to be put on other ships.
I want to see, I know this is totally against what the question's saying, but I'm going to run with it because I like to run off on tangents. I want to see more proprietary stuff. So I do want to see proprietary shuttles and stuff that are designed to land and be charged, like in the 890 jump. So you can't have it in another ship because that company has made it specifically to be charged here. And I want to see that with some weapons. We see it with like the Merlin. So the Merlin's got that gun turret on the front, which you can't place another gun turret there because it's got proprietary pipes. So it can only have that Gatling gun. I want to see that. I like that idea for some ships and for some weapons, that they're only fit on certain chips in certain ways, because that's how PCs and other bits and bobs are done occasionally. They do have those odd proprietary things that some companies want to do because it's for their financial gain or for some other reason. And I want to kind of see that in the verse, so you can get these like super powerful weapons, but they only work with this particular ship. And it goes, well, that's balanced it because I can't have these other super powerful weapons as well. So that's my rant.
It might not be $30, but I honestly think that we'll see those again. We'll see something like that.
Similar, I don't think. Yeah, we'll see them that cheap. But thank you again, Eric. And our next question is from Zenmaster, and he asks, "Have you guys heard anything about the scanning modules and randomly generated events to scan down and interact with? See EVE Online and their wormholes as an example. Just something random that feels new." He also says, "I come here for Star Citizen news because you guys know your shit, and I appreciate that." Well, I appreciate you. I'm happy that you're loyal. I like that. Yeah. That was a joke.
I don't quite
about
understand.
DJ Khaled.
I never played EVE.
I have never played EVE either.
Have you played EVE, Bored?
But going to the
played
base
a
of his
lot,
question is
Still
scanning
occasionally.
modules for things that are other than for ships or for mining stuff. I mean, and we know there's going to be scanning for wormholes or jump points, right? That's going to be a thing. That jump point exploration, you'll have to find them somehow. I wouldn't want to just sort of randomly fall into one, right? Not knowing where I'm going. So hopefully there's a way to do that. But outside of that, what else do you really need to see on with your scanners?
Oh, tons of stuff.
But there's going to be stuff with the Endeavour's telescope.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be loads of different gameplay for lots of different things. That's exploration-y and discoverably and scanning.
Well, I guess, and then if you also think of all the medical ships.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
Yeah, they have their scanners as well, and yeah, I mean, we have heard stuff about it. We haven't really heard anything recently because I imagine they're working on it to release those mechanics in game, and when they're ready, that's when we'll start to hear about them.
I would expect
More,
lots of
anyways.
varied mini games based on what you're trying to do for any given ship or system that's trying to scan things down, and not necessarily mini games, but some will probably be mini games. But lots of stuff to do, and some of it's similar to EVE in the way they do it as well. So EVE does have some good tenets for Star Citizen. It genuinely does.
Yeah, I think what they kind of said we'd see anomalies, and we'd have to go to that anomaly and find out what it was. And it could be anything from a jump point, possibly, to a asteroid field or a derelict ship, and there's going to be all sorts of gameplay with that. So.
Yeah. So yeah, Zenmaster, thanks for the question, man, and we appreciate you guys being here just as much as, if not more, than you guys enjoying this. We love doing this, and the fact that we can have the amount of community that watches us and listens to us.
I definitely appreciate the community more than you guys, than you do.
Yeah. Oh, of course, right. I mean, this is why we do it. We do it for the community. We don't do this for ourselves. We know all this information already. That's how we're able to share it with you. So yeah, it's been super awesome. And we'll just keep doing what we can do to make this better. I know we actually put this on iTunes recently, didn't we?
It is now findable on iTunes.
Yeah.
I looked at it earlier today to make sure.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
So yeah, like anything we can do to help make the podcast better, or to help get it to more, like maybe you have a special, there's a famous way of getting podcasts or something that we don't know about. We're on SoundCloud, we're on iTunes, we're on YouTube under BoredGamer's thing. We cut up all the questions, we put those on YouTube as well. We are live on my channel and Twerk's channel. We do everything we can to get it out to you guys as easily and as to find it as possible. So like I said, if there's anything we can do to make that experience better for you guys, let us know. But yeah, very much appreciate that. Our next question is from, you guessed it, Alito Paucus. And he asks, do you think an interdict... wow.
Whoa, what's a
English?
In a dick.
Yeah.
What are you saying,
All right.
Saurus?
Banned.
Do you think an interdiction dedicated ship makes sense. Would you need that ship to interdict someone, or do you think it would be better as a module?
I think it'd be better as a module, but it's most likely that interdiction ship is probably the ship that debuts something. They usually debut gameplay with a ship.
I think there are several ships that are suited for interdiction, and there are a lot of ships that aren't suited for interdiction. For example, an Avenger, thumbs up. A Reclaimer, maybe not so much. You know,
although a Reclaimer with interdiction done well, smaller ships coming out of war, but it goes lol, nom nom nom.
No.
But yeah, it's like, you know, it does make sense for some and not for others.
Yeah, indeed.
So, I think we will initially see, like Twerk said, we'll see interdiction primary ship, and that may be one of the ones coming out soon. But other than that, no idea. Our next question from Cyberwolf, the master of questions. After the release of Squadron 42, do you believe that the development of the persistent universe will speed up with the freeing up of studios and manpower that were working on Squadron 42, or will they just get assigned to the next chapter? I definitely think that the next important thing in the pipeline will be the persistent universe and to get that out, and that getting the next chapter out isn't a priority. So I think you pretty much answer the question within the question, saying, yeah, the studios and the manpower are going to be freed up, and that's all going to be put full bore onto Squadron 42. A lot of the things...
It's not just that, though. So it's not just going to be because they freed up more staff and more assets. A lot of the stuff for the PU can't be done now because they're waiting on Squadron 42 to be done. And when that's done, we'll have loads of extra assets done ready.
That's what I was saying was,
sorry.
Yeah, all the assets in Squadron 42 need to be done for Squadron 42 first, but they're all coming to Star Citizen. All the places and all the things that we're going to do in Squadron 42 are going to be in Star Citizen as well. It's all in the same game, essentially. It's all in the same universe. So, yeah, it's like that's going to be a thing for sure. So yeah, Several, thanks for the question. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen is they're going to work on that, and then after the persistent universe is done, and you know it's released, then the next step is the persistent or Squadron 42 Part 2. Our next question, and this is a long one from Captain Benji. Okay, let's actually break this into two here. So let's go here. Hi guys. Hi.
Oh, how you doing?
How do you think physicalized EVA will work in Star Citizen? Currently, if I EVA out of my ship while traveling at, say, 500 meters a second, I come to a complete stop in space, while physicalized EVA would keep me traveling at 500 meters per second my ship is traveling at.
Probably not.
Well,
because you're leaving in one instance and going into another.
No.
So it probably should, but it won't.
I don't think it matters whether you're in a ship or not going into instances. What I think is going to happen is we know that they're making massive changes to the EVA system. They've shown that already. They put some things in and they had to take them out. They know that the Newtonian movements or whatever right now aren't working properly, and I think that we are going to see that movement where once you are moving, you continue moving until you stop or slow yourself down. I mean that's how it works. That otherwise it feels like you're in atmosphere and it feels weird. So yeah, in regards to that question, I think that's kind of what we're going to see. For that, and there's a reason that he asked this, and we'll go into the second part of this question here, and that is the reason I asked this is because I say, for example, I disable an enemy ship's engine, if such a thing can be done in future builds, that ship will be traveling at its last so that ship will be traveling at its last velocity before engines went down. So if I'm able to board said ship, I would also have to match its speed in EVA if one or both ships are lacking docking colors. Right, because right now you could get 2 ships. You can put it in decoupled mode, right? Which is essentially you're not putting any thrust on it ever, and it just goes. Right? What basically he's saying is there going to be a decoupled mode for EVA. Because you could do that and match the speed, and then if you were to EVA, and the minute you step out, you're gone. Where you should be inheriting the speed from the ship coming out.
No, so I would expect that we'll get stuff similar to what we saw in Satterball, where we'll be able to go plink and then pull ourselves across.
Yeah,
we'll
like little harpoons.
Yeah, I'd assume that would be in there, because otherwise, as you said, it just lost ships.
A place to see Space Harpoons, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it, it's an anime movie that I saw again recently, actually at PAX, was Captain Harlock's Space Pirate. They use harpoons to board other ships. So they'll go up beside their ships, they'll open up. So think Caterpillar, they open up, they have like a shoulder-mounted harpoon that they attach on, they zip across, and or pull themselves in or whatever, and then go and do that.
But we can see the examples of ships being disabled and still moving their velocities at the moment, because in fact I've done a video with it with the Warlock. I've come out of waiting for a ship to come out, starts moving away, and I EMP it, and it just floats off. At its same velocity, you can't turn, and hits an asteroid. It goes. So yeah, I mean, I haven't tried EVAing across though. That would be hellish.
Yeah. The next question here from Lyrium is, I recently played the Division beta and it had amazing proximity chat. It got me thinking, when do you think we'll get the voice chat in-game for Star Citizen? Also, how fun are the multi-crew and FPS battles going to be with proximity chat?
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
Proximity chat is a necessity, and I imagine it's something they're going to be working on fairly shortly to get it in.
Well, they answered a question about it
on 10 for the chairman.
Yeah, just recently on 10 for the chairman, right? In the last one, where they said they want to have that in there. And the only thing that's been stopping them right now is the amount of bandwidth that it uses. But once they can get that down, then everything else works perfect. It's just the amount of bandwidth it uses to transfer that information back and forth. And they've said there are third parties that do it much, much better, that they may even look into something like that as well. So go and do a third party solution where they contract them out to build the systems for in-game. So they have those small, the small amount of bandwidth to still transfer the same amount of information. You know, where they're located around you, the echoes, what it sounds like with your helmet on, helmet off, through the radio, how far you are away, all kinds of that stuff. But yeah, I agree, it would be super awesome. And it's something that, you know, you would hear whether you have chat up or not, and is kind of important to the game for communicating. Not only with yourself, actually, it's probably less important to communicate using that for your group of people that you're with, because you could go in and talk on Discord or Skype or whatever. But more important to talk to people that you're not working with to see if they're friendly or not friendly, or to negotiate with them or anything like that. And that's going to be really important. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that.
Nope.
No. I mean,
other than how awesome it's going to be.
Voice over IP is going to be really great when you're screaming at people while you're fighting them on boarding actions and stations. It's going to be hilarious. So I'm really looking forward to that.
As you pass by them.
For pirates, that's going to be the main way you communicate your wants to the person you're raiding. Yeah. So, is it just money? Is it your cargo? Is it your ship? Is it your ship, your life, your cargo?
Yeah.
So yeah, we need it, and they're working on it. Boom.
All right. Our next question is from Giran, and he asks, from now to the future, do you think they will release ships fly ready before their role is actually in game? For example, will they release the Herald fly ready before the data transport mechanics are ready for the game? Or the other way, for example, in the case of mining, will they implement the mining mechanics before the Orion or other mining ship is ready for use? Thanks and high five. So
We've already done a little bit of it.
we have the Freelancer in, right? And it's like a cargo ship.
And we have the 315P. We have the
Avenger with the Stalker, right? With
we have
the stuff in it.
the Hornet Ghosts, and there's no real stealth mechanics yet.
But at the moment, we're looking at they're going to release simultaneous launches, aren't they? So they're going to go with its premiere, the salvage mechanic with a salvage ship. That's premiere, the mining mechanic with hopefully the Orion, but a mining ship.
Right.
So they're likely to either have the mechanics first or the mechanics released simultaneously with them, but unlikely the other way around, I would expect.
Yeah.
Right. I think that it depends if they have the mechanics close to being ready. If they have a mechanic that's close to being ready and it just makes sense to release it with a ship, either to delay it a little bit or to rush it a little bit and try and catch that up, then that's how they'll release it. If it's too far apart, like say for example they have, I don't know, the hulling mechanic, right? And they want to put that in. That's something that all the ships can use. So they don't necessarily need to debut it with something, but they would probably debut it with, say, a hull series, like the Hull A or something smaller that they could sort of pump out a little bit faster to say, okay, let's put this together. But yeah, great question, Garen, and thanks for asking. Our next question here is from Tritus. And he asks, do you think there will be an Arena Commander Championships for Squadron Battle and Battle Royale, like the one we have in real life with the Super Bowl, or the US Open, where teams join together and battle it out for a prize that will be broadcasted throughout the verse? I think that they had talked about this. They had talked about doing some sort of more esports type things, not only outside of game, but within the game as well. And that's why we're going to have like the in-game, like the news van and stuff like that, is so people can spectate this. We're going to be able to spectate the tracks and things like that as well. But both in-game and out-of-game was something they've expressed interest in doing something like that. Now, for it to be extremely successful out-of-game, they need to make sure that it's something that's easy to play but hard to master kind of thing.
And when you say out of game, you're talking about electronic access games like Arena Commander and Star Marine, correct?
No, I'm talking like electronic access being like a League of Legends tournament, or like something where it's like an actual esport, not outside.
Like you go to a stadium and play against
not necessarily.
people?
Like it's something they broadcast on Twitch, and it's like, yo, we
like
have
the
Team
the
Redacted
the
versus Cloud9.
So Arena
Yeah.
Commander. Or do you mean like big battles over a certain area?
No, you're missing what I'm saying completely. I think
An actual esports. So you do
like
you
an
do the
actual
Arena
esport.
Yeah.
Like an actual
Like
esport.
CS:GO
But it's
has-
also going to be an esport. Yeah. So CS:GO has an actual esport.
Would be Star Marine.
But CS:GO does not have an esport within the game. So it's not
like a
like
league?
it's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Oh
saying.
yeah, you can actually have it within the game. As
You can
well,
actually
right?
have it within the game as well, because
of course you could.
it's virtual reality within the game, so it can have that, right? So
Well, that
you
would
can
be
have
cool.
that. Yeah. So
They
yeah, I
probably do
think
all the major tournaments to have lore in game. That's actually a really good idea.
yeah. That'd be cool, hey? And you could even have in lore one, you can even have the NPC teams, like the famous NPC teams, and maybe some of the famous real life teams that actually compete for real prizes and real stuff outside of the game, is what I'm saying. But yeah, it depends on how much work and effort they put into it. I know they said they were talking to some of the real life things like MLG and some other stuff. I think they were talking to. Just briefly,
MLG Pro. I'm MLG
like
Pro.
the actual stuff to see what it takes to make a game an esport. Something like Rocket League, is something that translates well over to esports. Is something from Star Marine or Arena Commander going to be something that can translate over well? Is sort of unknown yet. We know that's what they're trying to do. That's why there's the point system. That's why there's all that other stuff. They would like it to have that penetration in that market, Kappa, because it would be, it would bring more people into the game, even if it's for the esports, right? People play World of Warcraft not just for the lore or the story or the rating or leveling tunes, but people also play it for PvP or competitions and things like that, 2v2s and 3v3s that are, there's real life competitions for those. So maybe we'll see that kind of stuff later on. But Tritus, great question, and thanks for asking. And we have 2 questions left here. The last one, guess who it's from? Wild guess.
I still can't say his name.
Elitopakis.
Yeah, that guy.
That's such a weird name.
And he
The way it's
says,
spelled is crazy.
thanks for answering my questions. Anyway,
You're welcome.
yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Let's just do this so we have the video. Do you think e-warfare will be manual, or do you think it will be preloaded hacks? Also, how effective do you think e-warfare will be? Yeah, for me, I think it'll be something similar to if you look at Fallout 4, when you have to hack the systems, or if you look at any game where you have to pick locks and stuff like that, or do some sort of little mini game to line things up, or pick out a pattern or something like that. I think we'll see they could be little randomly generated puzzles like that. That's how I imagine it being. I don't imagine it's like you're actually typing in code. It could be. You could be like learning and do stuff like that, but I don't know if it'd be like that.
So preloaded hack-wise, I would see like some EMP missiles doing certain things. If they hit, they're hack missiles. They hit you.
Yeah, they talked about those before.
Harpoons. Yeah, they talked about the ones that then allow you to hack. I'm thinking that might be ones that are specifically designed to, after 10 seconds, disable your engines.
Yeah,
if they hit you. Something like that.
Something like that.
And also, if you're using NPCs to do e-warfare, that's effectively like preloaded hacks. You have to hope that they do the right thing at the right time, maybe.
Yeah, they would have to have some sort of variable for them. Otherwise, they just always get it right. And it's like, oh. Same with their anti-hacking.
There's a thing, though, isn't it? Like, you want them to do it at the right time. I'm trying to think how you communicate certain things to NPCs, because sometimes you'll need to do them certain stuff at certain times. Like, you have to, otherwise it like makes their role irrelevant. So it's going to be an interesting thing for them to do for CIG.
Yeah. So will be interesting to see. I think that it'll be more of a manual-based thing. There'll be like predetermined sets of doing it, like a little mini game. But it'll have enough variation that it'll feel different every time. And it'll be just like a little mini game that they do. Our last question here from Lyrium. He starts out with, the Banu Merchantman is the best spaceship of Star Citizen and possibly of all time. And then he asks this question. And his question is, what other ships do you expect to see other than guns in the game? Well, we know, other than guns, we already have missiles, right? We have things like attachments. We have the EMP. We have, we've heard about mines. We've heard about, in the lore, Drake, or I think it's Drake. Or no, Joker. Joker Engineering makes a distress beacon that's basically a bomb that's ready to go off. We have not only weapons, but things that attach to weapon hardpoints, things like tractor beams, things like, they talked about mining arms and salvage arms on the Caterpillar when they were talking about that. So I don't think it's just going to be guns, and I'm sure you could use those things offensively as well, right? So if you...
My fists.
Or there's that. But in terms of FPS stuff, we're going to see some melee weapons. We know knives and spears are really, really important in Vandal culture, and I'm sure we're going to be able to use those as well. We're going to have things like gadgets, which are shields and holograms and all kinds of other cool stuff. Grenades, different types of grenades. So, yeah, we're going to definitely see some more stuff, but that's the stuff I can think of off the top of my head that we know of.
And that's just what we know of.
Yeah. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes.
Loads of things they want to show off at various citizen cons and stuff, but Aaron Roberts keeps on getting killed, so we'll never be able to see them. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to the FPS stuff, and some of the stuff that not Sucker Punch, that Joker Engineering will be doing. For,
Yeah. Well, the
for
Sucker
active
Punch
stuff.
is another good example as well. It's a weapon that doesn't really do damage. Another good weapon is the Scythe and the Glaive weapons. Now, they're not implemented properly yet, but what happens is they actually shoot plasma that sticks to your hull. Think of it as like, what is it? Napalm, right? And melts through your hull, right? It's a plasma that sticks and is like a goop that just burns through your hull. Like napalm or what's that other stuff that's whatever? Thermite.
I suppose
Thermite.
the glaive blades and the scythe blades, they don't deal any damage unless you're very close to them.
Yeah. Yeah, and those blades that stick out.
Yeah, they're for cutting butter, really big blocks of butter.
Yeah,
For
There's
Aurora
an
Bowling.
item that I'm seeing on the Star Citizen wiki, which I've never heard of, called the TRS Invenerator, a piece of equipment that Joker Engineering make, which slows down shield regeneration of a ship that it's focused on.
There you go.
So
Wait,
there's going to be some weird, interesting things.
Way back, we talked about that, like on I think our first ever podcast.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Yeah.
we went through Joker as a.
Yes, we did.
One of the
As a
companies.
highlight. That's right. So yeah, that's it for our questions. I guess where can everybody find you, BoredGamer?
I mean, if you go onto the internet and like search for Star Citizen, you can see me like BoredGamer UK on the YouTubes, and that would be the best decision you've made in the last few minutes. But yeah, check my YouTube out. I do videos on anything Star Citizen-y, mostly tutorials and news and info, but also a little bit of VR-y stuff. And I listen to all of my comments, like genuinely do. I put a couple of hours a day to look through them all, and you guys really help me. You can also, for any generous fellows, check out my Patreon as well, because my patrons have been so instrumental in doing like Scrapyard Citizen and stuff like that over the last few weeks, literally giving me ideas as well. I love you guys.
Ah,
I know, right?
beautiful.
So nice.
I was going to smile
And
until
do you have
someone said
anything? Do you have anything coming up this week that stands out?
Lots of different Star Citizen-esque videos that I can't think of any in particular at the moment that is particularly special. Just the same old, really. It'll be the Redacted podcast going up tomorrow from today, and then me generally doing either loadouts, gameplay, some talk about mechanics. I'm going to do something more techie next week, maybe before the next podcast. It will be Star Citizen or VR or both related. So stay tuned for that. But people got ideas, please share them.
There we go.
Mwah.
Lots
The
of kisses.
BoredGamer is a lot of sloppy, wet,
Moist
moist
winks.
moist winks for you. Hold your butts. Okay. Twerk, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/twerk17, as well as searching Twitter for Twerk17 Gaming and YouTube for Twerk17 Gaming. And we got some stuff coming up this week. I was hoping to do the Band Immersion giveaway last week, but as most everyone knows, I've been having some really bad internet issues that are somewhat resolved. Still having issues, but not as bad. So the plan is to give that away this Sunday, and it's a $250 ship. It's a Band Immersion. It's a ship a lot of people are excited about. It's got 3 years insurance. I'm pretty excited to give it away, and I'm also going to give away one of those 10% off codes if I'm able to, which I think I am. So
If they're transferable, that's awesome price.
yeah, I'm almost positive they are. I got to take another look just in case.
Yeah, I think I have one of those as well that I could do a thing for. For myself, you can find me on twitch.tv/WTFosaurus, twitter.com/WTFosaurus, and I have a personal YouTube, Source TV, which is where I put some of my highlights and stuff like that. And I have a lot of highlights I need to put up lately. I'm going to have to go through and do that. I also have the videos for all the interviews that we did. I'm going to be editing that over the next couple days. We have our Moderator Appreciation Day coming up on Friday, which is the first Friday of every month, where we come in and play games with the mods and stuff. We saw a game at PAX called Gang Beasts. I know it's not able to be played over online, but I think there's ways around it. So we might play that. We'll play some other games and yeah. And
we've done it. I'll show you how.
Yeah.
But before we go, one thing that you're not done. Sorry, I thought you were done.
No, no, it's all good. And then also tonight I'm going to be doing my Patreon stuff for my patrons because once again you guys make this a lot easier for me.
Wow.
So we're going to be doing the Photoshops and stuff like that tonight. So if you are a Patreon, make sure to come by. If not, I'll send a message out to everybody as well. And most importantly, we have the Redacted YouTube channel, which is still putting out content. You can go to that by youtube.com/redactedtv. We also have a Patreon and Twitter, which are linked right from the Redacted YouTube, as well as our website, which is in the process of moving over to Google Compute Engine, which is coincidentally the exact same servers that that Star Citizen uses for their stuff. So
that Patreon's really important, guys. That's actually what I was going to say.
Yeah, is super important. Really important. And it goes towards that, and you can see all that information in my chat by typing !redacted. So once again, guys,
we're moving over soon.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Really excited to get those interviews out to you. BoredGamer can't help himself from dancing, and we love all you guys. Thank you for allowing us to do this, and we're glad you guys enjoy this as much as we enjoy doing it. So we will see you next week at Wednesday, and I will be live right after this in about 5 minutes. All right, guys, take care.
Bye, guys.
BoredGamer.